What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another WNBA video. We have ourselves a 5-game slate to dive into for Tuesday, August 19th. So we're going to break down and analyze each of those games. We're going to talk about which way that I'm leaning as far as the points on the spread, and we'll also go over a couple player props that I found in those games that I like. And when it's all said and done, don't forget to check down there into that pinned comment. You'll find a link down there that's going to send you over to the Guy Boston Sports website. That's where you're going to find all of my final plays for these games listed for free. Now, before we dive into these games, let's go ahead and jump over there to the website. We need to take a look back to Sunday. Let's see what we took then and how that ended up going down. And man, we've definitely had better days. Sunday was a rough one, 2-5 overall on the day. Took the Fever and the Sun a total under 167.5. They go to overtime, so we don't hit on that one. They crushing over. Took the Sparks on the money line. That was not a hit either. Derek Hamby over 23.5 points plus rebounds. That was a cash. Jackie Young over 21.5 points plus assists was another X. We took the Valkyries plus 4.5. They lose by double digits. Tiffany Hayes over 19.5 PRA. She lands in single digits, I'm pretty sure. We don't get close to that one either. A bad read. Took the Mercury and the Storm. We added this one in late, a total over 162.5, and they just get us there. So, like I said, 2-5 overall on the day. We still are up on the year. We still do have a positive record, only up plus 20 units. But we are up at the end of the day, man. We're sitting at 170 and 162 overall with our win-loss record. So let's go ahead and find some more winning, productive plays, guys. Let's find some profitability on this board, some value on this board. We got 5 games to go over. Let's go ahead and get into it. Smash that like button down there for me if you can. Hit subscribe if you have not already. Let's jump into this first game, man. It's going to be a 7 p.m. tip-off time. Minnesota Lynx taking on the New York Liberty. Liberty are now favorites in this one, 2.5-point favorites. To open up with the Lynx as short favorites, 1-point favorites. But yeah, it's flipped over to the Liberty side. Total is coming down. It's at 165.5 now. It's going to be the second straight match between these two. They just faced off this past Saturday, and it's the Lynx' third straight game against New York overall. Liberty, they played 2 games in between their prior 2 matches with the Lynx, so they'll be at a slight rest disadvantage here. Now, the head-to-heads this season, man, between these two, it's felt like what we saw last year when the Liberty and the Aces would meet up, right? Liberty just took it to them each time and exacted revenge for their finals defeat from the year before. Sounds like the Lynx this year with the Liberty, right? Now, 3 head-to-head meetings so far, 3 Minnesota Lynx victories. Now, dating back to last season, we've seen the Lynx cover in 5 of the last 6 meetings. The one that they didn't cover, that landed in a push. The Lynx are a league best 28-6. They're 20-13-1 against the spread, 11-4 on the road, and 9-6 to the number in those games. The Liberty, they're 21-13 now, 13-4 when at home. They've gone just 12-20-2 to the number overall, but they are a little better at home in that regard, 9-7 with 1 push. New York, they're still going to be without Stewie. Minnesota's most likely going to be without Fee. We're just going to have to keep an eye on the injury report in this one, man. Naira Sabli and Isabel Harrison are both listed as game time decisions. Fee is listed as a game time decision as well, but I don't think that we see her here, man. Nothing's been indicating that, she's going to make her return to the court here in this one. In New York, they did do some things well offensively Saturday against these Lynx. They kept up with them for much of the game, man, despite falling behind early. They actually shot the ball slightly better, 38% from deep, 45% overall from the field. And the Lynx shot 43% from the field, 32% from deep. They were pretty even in the rebounding battle, with Minnesota just edging out the Liberty here, 33-32. Both these teams had just 6 offensive rebounds. Neither team was killing it on that end. The Liberty slightly outscored the Lynx in the paint and in transition as well. They dished out 1 more assist even. But in a game this tight, 2 things proved key. They gave up 5 more turnovers than the Lynx. They were very efficient with the ball. Minnesota was. I think they had, 8 turnovers overall. And New York did, they committed 10 more fouls, resulting in 33 Minnesota free throws to just 8 for New York. Now, it's not often that we see that kind of disparity in a game, as far as free throw attempts are concerned. And it was a really just a major difference maker in this game. And also called out by the New York players in the, post-game pressers. So it's also, looking at this game, it's really, really hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. So I got to look towards New York in this spot, man. There's no way that they get the whistle again, or, Minnesota gets the whistle again like that 2 times in a row. I can't see it happening here. And, man, like I said, just extremely hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. But, man, I'm not sure I can get there to fade the Lynx. You know what I mean? That's the issue here. So The Lynx have won 6 straight, 4 in a row without fee. Liberty have lost 3 of their last 4. So it's like it's one of those situations as well where one side is due for some regression, the other is due for a win, but that's, never a reason to put a play in. So it's a New York lean, man, but I'm not sure that I can get there to pull the trigger on this one as far as the side is concerned. That total, it's sitting right around where the game landed the last time at 166. We saw a push in that one as far as the total is concerned. I'm under prior to that, and then an over in their first match. So we've gotten a little bit of everything as far as the total is concerned with these two this year. Two of the last three have hit to the under for Minnesota, with the one that didn't finishing as a push. Then 6 of the last 8 have hit under for the Liberty, and they're playing to the fifth slowest pace over their last 5 at home. So I'm going to lean under looking at this game here. And next up, we have a 7:30 p.m. tip-off time. Connecticut Sun, Washington Mystics. Mystics are 5.5-point favorites in this one. The total's coming down in this one as well, 157.5. Now, the Mystics do come into this one having won 3 of their last 4. They covered in 4 of their last 5. All of a sudden, this young team that's been pretty inconsistent on the offensive end, they're sitting all the way up at third for offensive rating in their last 5 games. They're averaging just under 87 points per game. Also third in the W. They're shooting 43% from deep. That's second overall, and a league best 52% overall from the field. They're 16-18 now on the year. That has them tied with the Sparks for ninth place and just half a game back from that eighth and final playoff spot. They're 17-17 against the spread. They're 8-9 when at home. They've won 10 of their 17 home games outright this year. The Sun, they do come into this one at 6-27 straight up, just 1-15 on the road. They've gone 17-16 to the number this year, 7-9 when away. Connecticut's lost 6 of their last 7, but they've covered in 3 of their last 4 games now. They're sitting second from last for offensive rating. They have the third worst defensive rating over their last 5 games. Washington has won the first 2 head-to-head, covering in each of those games as well. They should have the upper hand here in the post. They're just middle of the pack currently for points from the paint, coming in at 7th in their last 5 games. But the Sun check in third from last. They're also giving up the second most points from the paint, while the Mystics allow the second fewest. The thing that concerns me here for the Mystics, man, is their issues with ball control. They're giving up the second most turnovers per game over their last 5. The Sun are forcing the third most turnovers, and they come in at 6 for points scored off of turnovers and also sit at 5th for points scored on the break. The Mystics are 4th in defending in transition, but are giving up the second most points off of turnovers. Both these teams, they're scrappy, they're physical, man, and because of that, I think we see a lot of free throw attempts between these two as well. On the year, the Mystics are putting opponents at the line at the 6th highest rate and attempting the most free throws themselves, while the Sun are attempting the 4th fewest free throws, but they are putting opponents on the line at the 2nd highest rate. Washington has also committed the 3rd most fouls per game this year, so I do expect to see the Sun, see the line a little bit more than they typically do on average as well. I want to get there with the Mystics, man. They keep showing me as of late that I should, right? But I just feel like, 6 points is a lot to lay with them, even against the Sun. It's really, there's just some areas that the Sun can take advantage of, and if they can capitalize and create those turnovers that we spoke of, man, if they can get out on the break, if the outside shot isn't falling for Washington like it has been as of late, then I definitely could see a path for the Sun to cover here in this one. So it's going to be a Washington lean for me, but I'll probably leave the side alone here, and I'll probably look at the total, if anything, in this game. We've seen 2 overs so far this season in the first 2 head-to-heads. They've hit to the over in 4 straight, 5 of their last 6 head-to-head meetings. Now, Connecticut has hit over in 3 of their last 5, while the Mystics have it in 4 in a row. These defenses aren't blowing anyone away as of late either, man. Washington just 10th for defensive rating in their last 5. Connecticut 11th. So I think we see these two play with some pace, man, and get to the line a good bit as well, like we already mentioned. So I'm going to look at an over in this game. And next up, we have an 8 p.m. tip-off time. Going to be the Seattle Storm taking on the Chicago Sky. Storm are 11.5-point favorites, and we definitely see some line movement in this one as far as that total is concerned. Opened up at 154.5. We see that up to 157.5 now. Now, this is the second head-to-head between these two this season. The first resulted in a blowout Storm victory, 95-57. Man, neither of these teams come in to this one playing good basketball right now. The Sky have lost and failed to cover in 12 of their last 13 games. The Storm have failed to cover and lost outright in 8 of their last 10. Those losses have come by an average margin of defeat of just over 5 points per game, man. Seattle just can't seem to find a way to close out close game after close game. They've covered in 10 of their 17 road games, while the Sky have only covered in 5 of 17 when playing at home. In the last five, we've seen Seattle score the most points in the W from the paint, and the Sky do give up the third fewest from here, but the Storm are also hitting the second most points off fast breaks and the third most points off of turnovers. Chicago is giving up the fourth most fast break points and points off of turnovers. Storm have been forcing the second most turnovers per game, while the Sky are giving it up at the highest rate, not only in the last five, but over the course of the season as well. Both these teams have definitely struggled as of late, man, but I would lean with Seattle here. This has every bit of a feeling of a game that they should win by 20 plus, man. I don't see me putting my money on them just yet. You know what I mean? I need to see it first. I need them to show me, but I'd be leaning that way. For the total, even with Seattle scoring 95, man, the Sky couldn't pull their weight in that first head-to-head to hit an over, and they landed under a 154 line. Under a 154 line with the Storm scoring 94 points. That's absurd. Six of the last seven have went under for the Sky. Two of the last three for Seattle. Seattle is fourth for pace, but Chicago sits second from last. I just don't trust the Sky to get it going in this one either, and don't trust the Storm enough either at the end of the day. So it's a slight lean towards the under for me in this game here. All right, next up, 10 p.m. tip-off time. Atlanta Dream taking on the Las Vegas Aces. Aces opened up 2.5 point favorites. That's down to 1.5. That total opened up 163.5. We see that moving towards the over, sitting at 164.5 now. Now, this should be a great game, man. The Dream come into this one 22-12. They're second in the W, 20-14 against the spread. They've won and covered in 12 of 19 when playing from away. They've won 10 of their last 12 games now. The Aces are on a 7 game winning streak themselves. They've won 9 of their last 10. They've covered in 8 of those 10. They sit at 21-14 on the year, 12-5 at home, but they've gone just 17-18 against the spread, 8-9 when at home. Looking at each of these teams in the last five, we see the Aces, man, they've been playing great basketball, right? They sit at first for offensive rating, sixth for defensive rating, and they are fourth with a net rating of plus 10.2. The Dream, though, they've been playing even better basketball as of late, man. They're just seventh for offensive rating, sure, but they bring the second rated defense on the court here. They come in at third for net rating at plus 14.3. Vegas is scoring the most points per game over the last five, making the third most three-pointers and at the fourth highest shooting percentage. They're hitting the most shots from outside the restricted area as well, and at the second highest shooting percentage. Now they're hitting the third most shots from the mid-range. They're hitting those at the third highest percentage and hitting the third most above the break threes as well. The Dream are holding opponents to the second lowest shooting percentage from outside the restricted area in the paint, the lowest percentage from the mid-range. Teams are shooting at the fourth lowest shooting percentage from above the break against Atlanta and hitting the second fewest shots from that zone as well. And Atlanta's been giving up the second fewest points per game over their last five at just under 70 points per game, 69.8. The Dream on the other end, man, they're getting it done inside. They're hitting the fifth most points from the paint. The Aces, they're giving up the most. Both these teams are good rebounding teams, but the Dream edge the Aces out here as well, man. Vegas is third for rebounding percentage in the last five, while Atlanta leads the W sitting at first. So I like the Dream in this spot, man. I like the defense to play a big factor in this one. That's, why I would be leaning towards the under looking at this game as well. Vegas is only eighth for pace in their last five as well. The Dream are third from last. They hit under the line in their first head-to-head, and Atlanta comes into this one having hit five unders in a row. Vegas has been playing to the over as of late. Four of their last five and seven of the last 10 have gone over, but man, they'll have some troubles finding consistent success through this game offensively, in my opinion. So it's a lean towards the under for me here, with that Atlanta defense in mind. And then our last game on the night, 10 p.m. tip-off time, Phoenix Mercury taking on the Golden State Valkyries. Mercury are 6.5 point favorites on the road here with a total sitting at 155.5. That is starting to come down from that 156.5 that it opened up at. Phoenix are going to be on the second game of a 3 game road trip. They'll come in off of a hard-fought win over the Storm in Seattle their last time out. Now, they've gone 9-7 on the road this season, 8-8 to the number. Mercury have won each of the head-to-heads this season so far between these two. The first in Phoenix by 9, Valkyries losing the second match at home by just 1 point. Phoenix has won and covered in 4 of their last 6. Valkyries have won and covered in 4 of their last 5. So both these teams are playing good basketball, man. Golden State, they've been playing great, honestly, man, on both ends of the court over their last 5 games specifically. They're sitting at 4th for offensive rating, 3rd for defensive rating, and they are 2nd for net rating. They are heavy on that three ball, though, man. They lead the W in percentage of points scored from the outside. They have made the most threes per game in their last 5 as well, but the Mercury are giving up the fewest threes per game and also holding opponents to just 22% shooting from outside. That is tops in the W. Golden State shot a solid 42% from deep over this Mercury team, though, when they played that last time. And that was with Kayla Thornton leading the team in minutes in that one and going just 2 of 12 shooting from the field. She is out for the season now, obviously, man, and more shooters are in the rotation now, namely Xander Lassini, who is in the starting lineup. And we've just seen, like I said, more shooters fall into bigger roles in that offense. Valkyries have been better on the glass as well, man. Defensively, they are a step ahead, in my opinion. So I think we see a slower, low scoring game here, and I'm definitely leaning towards an under. But it's just too many points, man, to give the Valkyries at home, so I'm gonna lean that way as well. Give me Golden State catching the points here. And then I do got two props that I'm looking at here, guys. Let's go ahead and jump over to Outlier. We'll check those out and break those down as well. First up, we're gonna be looking at Sabrina Ionescu of the Liberty, her points and assists. Now, there's two ways we could play this. We can play this the same way we cashed out the other night, man, under 23.5, but this one is super juice now, minus 160 over here at ESPN. That's the only place we're seeing that available at, right? If we scroll down, we can see, in the last five, hitting at a 100% rate, averaging 18.2 points and assists, so well underneath that 23.5 line, right? And you just see all green there, right? 70% over the last 10 games. You can push it back further even into the last 20, and we're still hitting at a 55% rate, 11 out of 20 games. Now, head-to-head is where I definitely like this play the most. She just really struggles against this Minnesota Lynx backcourt. And you can see why, man. Look at them over here. As far as points allowed and assists allowed, Minnesota sitting at first in the league. In that backcourt, they're sitting at first for points allowed, second for assists allowed to that guard position specifically. And then, like I said, man, head-to-head, hitting at an 83% rate under this line, right? Averaging 19.83 points and assists. So once again, we're well underneath that 23.5 line. Now we can play it at that, right? And it's definitely juice, like I said, but the numbers look really good. Or you can get a little more risky with it. Look at that under 21.5. I think I like that as well, guys. Now, we're not hitting that at nearly the same exact numbers, right? 67% rate head to head, still 8 out of the last 12 games. If we look at her in her last five, she's hitting this at an 80% rate, even. So, in that one game that she went over on the hook, right? So, like I said, a little more risk involved in this one, needing her to land under 21.5, but you're getting a much, much better price, minus 108. So I'd also be looking at Sanaya Rivers of the Sun. I'm looking at her points over 9.5. Now, look, we don't typically get props available for her, man. And when we have, man, I've jumped on them, right? I've, cashed on some rebounds and assist props with her before. I think on her points as well. So, yeah, like I said, we haven't gotten a lot of available props for her. We have a over 9.5 sitting at plus money, plus 168 over there at FanDuel. So we gotta love that, man. Scroll on down and see, yeah, in the last 10, right? Not hitting at a great rate. The numbers don't look fantastic by any means. You know what I mean? We look in her last five, though, we can see that she's coming close in those games that she's not hitting over this mark, right? And the minutes just keep steadily increasing. And then we can see she's shooting 57% from the field, 57% from three as well. So shooting the ball very well over her last five games as those minutes increase. So yeah, I like our chances here, especially against the Washington defense. It's really just been middle of the pack here as of late. So at plus money here at plus 168, I definitely think this is worth a flyer. Nothing to go crazy on, but definitely something to, sprinkle a little bit on. That is going to do it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Hope you found the content helpful and useful. And if you did, please don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and subscribe if you have not already. And that is going to wrap it up, man. Hope you guys all cash out tonight. Hope you guys all have a great night, and I'll see you back tomorrow for the next one.